So calcific aortic wall stenosis is most prevalent heart wall disorder in developed countries because of their sedentary lifestyle and so many other factors. So it is characterized by progressive fibrocalcific remodeling and thickening of the aortic wall leaflets. So leaflets, because of its structure like leaflets, wall structure I'm talking about. So it leads to severe obstruction to cardiac outflow. So in this figure we are seeing that bicuspid wall malformation occurs, and which ultimately leads to calcified aortic wall disease, which means the occurrence of calcification. So there are four walls in the heart. Two lower two walls are called as tricuspid and mitral walls, and upper two are called as aortic and pulmonary wall. So the aortic wall which we are talking about right now, it is located in the right upper of the heart. Okay, so normal wall structure I have shown in this figure is like this, and if the wall is stenotic means particularly stenotic word is used for abnormally constricted body canal or passage. So this walls are normally required for the preventing outflow of the preventing backward flow of the blood. So this is the function of wall. So this is the canal or passage which is required to maintain the blood flow or any flow. If it is, we are generally using wall in the daily routine, so it is to make the flow in unidirection, so that the blood will not come in the opposite direction. So there are four main causes of aortic stenosis, that is calcium buildup, birth defects, rheumatic fever, radiation therapy. So how aortic wall stenosis causes obstruction to cardiac outflow is because of its calcification. So in the upper left half I have shown the healthy aortic wall, and lower half it is aortic wall stenosis. So if we see a upper figure, so it is showing that if wall is properly opened and properly closed structure of the wall, but if it is stenotic or calcified, then it is either not properly opening or not properly closing. Next is targets which are under investigation for the medical treatments and potential interventions in order to tackle this problem. So there are various agents like lipid lowering intervention, renin angiotensin aldosterone system blockage, then mineralocorticoid receptor antagonist, and then modulators of nitric oxide pathway, anti-calcific agent, inhibitors of bone resorption, vitamin K, and so on. So in the lipid lowering interventions, there are three strategies they are researchers are trying out, that is statins, then lipoprotein A lowering therapies, and PCSK9 inhibitors. PCSK9 means protoprotein convertase substitution casein type 9, and then in renin angiotensin aldosterone blockade system, that is ACE inhibitors, that is angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors or angiotensinogen receptor blockades. So we will see the mechanism of action of all the drugs one by one. So what statins do is, statins inhibits the enzyme HMG coenzyme reductase, which is required in the synthesis of cholesterol. So that statins act by competitively blocking the active site of the first and key rate limiting enzyme in the mevalonate pathway, that is HMG coenzyme reductase. So it inhibits the enzyme HMG coenzyme reductase. Other is lipoprotein A lowering therapies. So lipoprotein A levels are genetically determined by the lipoprotein A gene. Then next is PCSK9 inhibitors. So it blocks PCSK9 from binding the LDL receptor, which leaves more receptors on the liver cells to remove LDL particles from the bloodstream, and thus it lowers LDL cholesterol. So ultimately what it does is it LDL receptor remove LDL particles from the bloodstream. So it's ultimately removing the PCSK9 from binding to the LDL receptor. So further it ultimately leads to removal of LDL particles from the bloodstream. Then renin angiotensin aldosterone system blockade. So we all know this mechanism, but I will briefly explain this how this works. So ultimately it causes in this pathway end product is aldosterone. So aldosterone causes vasoconstriction, increases sympathetic output, it retains water, sodium, vasodilation, apoptosis. So if this pathway is blocked, then all these processes will be blocked. So ultimately there will be these outcomes are on the heart. Next is mineralocorticoid receptor antagonist. It decreases the aldosterone effect. It leads to higher levels of potassium in the serum and increased sodium excretion. Okay, so it ultimately decreases body fluid and it lowers blood pressure. So similarly that is in RAS blockade. Next is nitric oxide. So how it works? It relaxes vascular smooth muscle by binding to the heme moiety of the cytosolic guanylate cyclase. This thus activates guanylate cyclase and thus increases intracellular level of cyclic guanosine 3-5 monophosphate, which is responsible for vasodilatation. Other are inhibitors of bone resorption. It inhibits osteoclast formation via osteoblastic cells. So these osteoblastic cells are also responsible for the formation of osteoclasts. Then anti-calcific agents. This effect on vascular calcification. Next is vitamin K. It is required for the prevention of vessel calcification. So if we see all these targets, sorry, I didn't actually I was not on the slides, same slides, so very sorry for this mistake, but all these targets are ultimately required for ultimately prevents calcification, or the mechanisms which are responsible for calcification. Anyhow it decreases or maintains the healthy structure of the walls or blood vessels. So you can take the screenshots if required for next one. So we'll move ahead for the novel targets for CAVS. So novel targets are NOX2, ENPP1, P2Y2, cadherin 11, PPAR. So we will say one by one of these things. So NOX2 inhibition mitigates the severity of aortic wall fibrosis, calcification and stenosis. ENPP1 is the inhibition of ENPP1 prevents the development of CAVS. Then P2V2, so it agonist promotes the regression of CAVS. DPP4 inhibition prevents CAVS development. Then cadherin 11 blocking antibody prevents Notch1 mediated CAVS. Then PPAR agonist attenuates the progression of aortic wall calcification. So we will further see this actually how this all works. So in detail we will see this all things. So NOX2 it causes pharmacological deficiency or inhibition of NOX2 can restrict the inflammatory and oxidative stress response accumulation, which are responsible for stenotic calcification. So in this way the inflammation or oxidative stress can be prevented, right? So next is ENPP1. ENPP1 is well known for its role in regulating skeletal and soft tissue mineralization inhibition. Okay, then P2Y2 receptor agonist. It enhances the stability, protects the heart from ischemic damages. Then DPP4 inhibitors, which includes gliptins, or which is also called as gliptins, which are relatively novel class of anti-diabetic drugs, which are particularly used for type 2 diabetes by oral treatment. Then cadherin 11 blocking antibody. Cadherin 11 regulates fibroblast inflammation, so it needs to be blocked. That inflammation, it needs to be blocked. So that is how that calcification on and all can be prevented, or the other triggering mechanisms can be prevented. Then PPAR agonist, that is responsible for lowering triglycerides and blood sugar levels. So these agonists are also tried out in reducing obesity, so for the treatment of obesity. So we'll see primary outcomes in clinical trials of this disorder. So the measurement of calcium score progression, then change in AV atrioventricular calcium metabolism, then changes in atrioventricular calcium levels. So how it can be done? If calcium score progression is done by CT or NAF PET scan, then atrioventricular calcium metabolism is done by NAF PET scan. Okay, so what calcium score progression is? See in this figure, this is blood vessels, so all these particles like lipids and other deposition of cholesterol, other things, it builds up some thrombi. That is, thrombi is actually the coagulated blood, and then it leads to these all inflammatory things, ultimately causes calcification, and so it increases the risk of myocardial infarction, right? So we'll see if these things we have to monitor. Then what is cardiac CT and what is cardiac NAF PET scan? So cardiac CT, that is computed tomography, is heart imaging test that uses CT technology, that is computed tomography technology, with or without intravenous contrast, that is dyes. They are generally used for visualization of the heart anatomy, coronary circulation and great vessels, which includes aorta, pulmonary veins and arteries. So this is this. And if